Understandably, perhaps, the world's attention has been on the shocking Iranian missile attack at the weekend, but we cannot and we must not forget about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the plight of millions of innocent civilians facing a man-made famine and living with the constant threat of attack. Neither can we forget those immensely brave humanitarian aid workers, particularly the 7 World Central Kitchen employees whose status as humanitarians appears to have offered them little or no protection from the IDF. And despite the promises made, the United Nations has reported that this week more than 40% of what they tried to take into Gaza was rejected. And those of us who have been to the border and have seen the efforts of the Egyptian Red Crescent and their warehouse full of rejected medical equipment have a pretty good idea what those items were. And this is an area which has no single operational hospital. But the elephant in the room is arms export licences. And for how much longer is the UK going to send humanitarian aid to Gaza while simultaneously licensing weapons sales to Israel? And wouldn't the best form of humanitarian aid for the people of Gaza be to end supplying Israel with the weapons that will kill them?
The honourable gentleman is right to highlight what happened in Iran recently, and of course we mustn't forget the humanitarian situation on the ground in Gaza. We're working very hard to make sure that aid can come through that he talked about. I highlighted that in my opening remarks. He also talked about exports. The latest assessment carried out by the Foreign Secretary leaves our position on export licences unchanged. This is consistent with the advice ministers have received, and will continue to keep this position under review. But he should remember his opening point about Iran and what's happened recently, and I'll leave it there on export controls.